Hi, John.
Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Here we are on Facebook Live with the lovely Kim Durham. Hey, Kim. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. I'm what? Well, I'm in sunny Florida, soaking up the vitamin D.
Yeah, I can see that coming through the windows. And here in New England, gorgeous day also. So I'll get out there because we all need a little sunshine and vitamin D, and you need to take in that prana every once in a while, people. You got to get outdoors. And someone reminded me today, make sure you get outside, John. So everyone, good morning. Get outside. Enjoy your day. And we're on here for a little bit just to say hello and to discuss what really happens when a medium talks to spirit. Yeah. So come on. And we'll just give a couple, just another minute or so, Kim,
Hmm.
and we'll just, okay. All right. So when
Hi,
people,
Judith.
oh,
Hello
there
from
she is. Hey,
Florida.
oh, there she,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you ever worked in Florida, Kim?
Yes, I have clients. I've done events in Parkland. The Villages is where I am now visiting family. And then I'll be closer to Claremont. I've got some work there to do. Yeah, but
Brilliant.
yes. Hmm.
Brilliant. I've worked in the Sarasota, Fort Myers area. So if you're out there, Fort Myers, Sarasota, been there, and hopefully to come back also. So come on in, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter, maybe you're in Australia, okay, or in another country, or going into nighttime in England. So Kim and I were both talking, and a lot of people will ask us, well, what really happens when a medium talks to spirit? Like, what's really going on in our head? Are we reading the person in front of us? Are we connecting to the other side? Is it our own thoughts? So a
Hmm.
lot of people want to know that because they're getting their own signs. They're getting their own, some of them are training themselves. And many people have been to events. And a lot of times they don't get to ask the mediums those kind of questions. You know, how long have you been doing this? What's it like in your head? Does it
Hmm.
drive you crazy? No, guys. Okay. No, it doesn't. No, Kim and
At
I,
times.
we know how to turn
We're
it
never
on.
alone.
Exactly. Well, that's true for everybody, isn't it? So come on in, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live, and also might be streaming elsewhere. And what really happens when a medium talks to spirit, or when spirit talks to us, Kim? Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I mean it differs, doesn't it, though, based upon our life library about how they come forward. I know
right.
they tap into my medical side quite a bit because of being if there's such a thing as being a former nurse, RNFA. I did cardiothoracic and orthopedic surgery at Penn Presby. Shout out to all my healthcare providers out there. But that's
Brilliant.
one of the ways that they come forward and use my history or my background in that. Can I share a quick story about how
Oh,
one
please, and
came
I'll
through that?
share one too. Yes.
Okay. So I was doing an event and people spirit will make me stop. Okay. Your loved ones, I'll be walking through the crowd or even up on stage, but they'll make me stop. And in this case, this gentleman who had crossed over, a father figure, came forward and he stopped me and he started to show me that he was in on an operating room table and he was having lower abdominal surgery and he showed me something very specific. They were clipping off the ureters, right? You have the bladder, the ureters, um, and
Thank you for that, Kim.
well, yeah, just saying, and the ureters and the bladder, and so he showed me that they clipped it off, and then he showed me, and also my background in sign language, that he crossed over 5 days later and I'm like, okay, I have a father figure here. He was having AAA surgery, abdominal aortic aneurysm. They and that he crossed 5 days later, and there went everybody went what, and there went the hand, and that's in fact how her father died. So as you have often said, they use our life library. And so my life library in working in that field, medicine and nursing, is something that they absolutely pull from.
Yeah, people don't realize there's an intelligence to the spirit world. They will use whatever we've studied for the medium. Everything we've studied, everything we've looked at, every place that we visited, it's all in here. Just like for you who are watching, all your memories are in there. In spirit, I look at it, imagine that they're on the other side, Kim, like, okay, how can we get them to say this? And they look into your data bank. I'm only kidding with the keyboard, but they know how to get it. And it's amazing. when we get something, all I have to do is mind map it, is just hold it. And then there's a whole story that goes with it in seconds. So that's why, Kim, I'm fascinated, not just by the work that, not necessarily that I do, but
Mm.
how it works. I get so excited when information comes through, right? So with your story, one that I've done so many of these, thousands of them, so many stories, but some stick with you. Some of them stick
Uh-huh.
with you. One time I was doing I was working for Hay House, and there was an audience of about 3,000 people, right? And in my mind, while I'm up there, I saw in my mind's eye Snow White, and it's funny, Snow White's coming out too recently, right? Snow
Yeah.
White is being
Uh-huh.
carried by in a crystal casket, if you remember that, by the seven dwarfs. You could see her, and she's in the casket. She ate the apple. And so in my mind, I just knew immediately. I didn't have anything to do with Disney. I have nothing to do with Snow White. I don't know any of the dwarfs' names. Well, I do, but I had no names around me like that. So in my mind, I just saw something, and I spoke to the audience. I said, would somebody understand um, a casket that had a window? And in my mind, Kim, I'm like, oh God, who's going to raise their hand? Out of 3,000 people,
It
a
is
hand shot
unusual.
up, because it's kind of specific, right?
Yeah,
What who
yes.
has a casket with the window on it, right? So a woman raises her hand, and she said, John, it's not a casket. And I said, well, what do you mean? She's a potter. All right. She makes pottery. And a friend of hers son passed away, a young teenager, loved baseball. So in pottery, she made a perfect baseball, and she put a bubble on the baseball window. She put a bubble window so he could always look out. I mean, the whole audience
Oh,
was like, oh my God. And I didn't
yes.
and if it feels right to me, I'm like, that's absolutely right. Then more evidence comes through. So it keeps happening over and over again. And I always say, not look how good I am. I say,
Right.
awesome, good, because they're the ones that are doing it. You have to realize from spirit, it's a three-way communication from spirit, through spirit, to spirit. So I
Mhm.
find it amazing. They keep on doing those. And I'm sure, Kim, we got tons and tons of those kinds of stories.
Yeah, I mean, and I love, when John, when you talk about having to travel, the places that I've gone to, the experiences that I've had, was lucky enough to go to Hawaii, and I had
Mhm.
a husband come forward, and he's walking, and I can see Diamond Head behind him, and he's walking on the beach, and he's picking up shells, and he made a necklace, and he's handing it to the woman who sat with me. Well, you see, her husband crossed quickly, unexpectedly. They had paid for a trip to Hawaii. That was the dream. He had bought her a necklace that
Ah,
was shells from Hawaii, and as an incentive, as a surprise, I'm taking you to Hawaii. And here he came forward and showed that he was in Hawaii, and that was his. I'll call it his place of peace, or his place where he recharged his battery, so to speak. But that totally resonated with the client because, those things were specific. My brother being a jeweler, when I bring forward jewelry, I draw very specifically because I can see it so visually. My background in photography, I think, plays a role in that. But it's always amazing to me how they pull from where we've been, what we've done, to say yes. Or even how they work through other people. Have you ever had a situation where someone sat with you, and a loved one who had crossed came through? They may have shared the same office space. They may have worked together. Isn't that always remarkable? Do you remember anything like that happened? But
well, I've had that happen, and I've had whole rows.
yeah.
That somebody brings somebody through, and it's amazing too. Like I said, this work is amazing. I'm still fascinated by it, even after 25, 26 years. In the room of audiences, okay, there might be the mothers who lost children. There
Mm.
may be the construction workers. There may be, and this has happened too, the AA group. All right, people
Oh.
that have been in AA, or someone might come through with a chip, and I'm saying, I'm coming here. And then all those people there. So I think Spirit knows. And these are general admission tickets, right? You don't know where you're sitting. And
Mm.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then also, Kim, doing bigger audiences too, smaller,
Mhm.
bigger ones. Someone might be over here. This happened once. And I said, someone else, you look by yourself, but they're telling me someone else is in the room. And then it'll be a cousin. They're like, oh my God, Janine, it's me, Connie. I'm here too.
Yeah.
So They will see. It's a yeah. I
See,
love it.
that's wonderful, and that's the whole thing about when uh, how they link, right? I've said, because you've touched upon it, like these are general admission tickets, and you could have all the people that crossed from a heart attack sitting together, everyone
Yeah.
who crossed from a car accident sitting over here, and it just amazes me because the randomness, if you want to say, that you would think with a GA ticket, and no, angels, like your loved ones are sitting together or linking. They'll link from how they crossed. I did an event down in Delaware at the DuPont Country Club. Lovely people, lovely loved ones who had crossed. I refer to them lovingly sometimes as angels, and I had three Davids link by name coming forward,
Ah,
and that's how they do it. So there's an intelligence,
to
as
the
we've
spirit
spoken
world.
about how they show us a picture, because they'll tap into our life library, and it makes sense to go. And I lovingly say it's charades with your loved ones. They make me, they'll use it for me. It's that seeing that picture, feeling that sensation, um, and being able to link through that and work through that moment of what they're trying to express, whether it's a feeling, whether I hear something, or whether I'm shown something.
Yeah, and like when I do every time now, I'm going to Italy in September, right? God willing, right? So I've never been there, but every time I'm
I'll
in
be
an
in your
audience,
suitcase, by the way. I'm going
okay,
too,
okay,
but yeah,
just tuck you
yeah.
in there. Um, if I'm ever with somebody and I find myself looking up at the ceiling, I know it's the Sistine
Sistine
Chapel. And I
Chapel.
said, "Oh, you went to Italy?" They're like, "Oh my God." Now I'm going to see the Sistine Chapel, but because I know artwork, and some of the
Yeah.
masters, it's all in there for use. And just really, really quickly, the whole audience can feel it when a link happens, especially if it's a good one, right? You can feel it just like by putting people into certain areas of an audience. They know that okay, the mother's here. They all can feel it. They can feel the spirit, or the people that have lost children, or dads, or the AA group. It's amazing how they work. One time I was with Brian Weiss in Boston. Okay, my buddy. I
Oh,
love working with him.
fantastic.
It was in downtown Boston near Copley Square. There was 1,100 people in the audience. And just before I was to step off the stage, he went on first doing past life regression. Then I was on there, gave the messages, and then I was just about to step off, and I heard mention the rock, mention the rock, and I kept hearing this guy's voice, all right, in my own mind. And I knew there was a feeling of going down. There was like a falling. And just right away, once again, everyone, that's why I love this work. I said,
Yeah.
I'm coming in the back. Would somebody understand going down? They lost a male figure going down in a plane who keeps yelling out, remember the rock? Remember the rock? Now, that's kind of specific. Out of 1,100
Uh-huh.
people, not a lot of people are going to have an accident like that or something about the rock. Woman raises her hand way in the back, and
Uh-huh.
it was her husband. He was one of the passengers on 9/11. Okay. And every year on their anniversary in the Cape, all right, I don't know beach it was, they would wait till the tide goes out and they would have two champagne glasses and sit on their rock and toast each other every single
Oh,
year until he passed. So she kept saying,
oh,
remember the rock? And of course, the audience is, tears. And then
oh.
then he said, I know she's met somebody else. It's okay. I love her. And see this, I get emotional. It was quite special. Everyone, this is
Yeah.
why live mediumship is great because you can all feel it. All right.
It's
When you get a
healing.
message. Yeah.
It's healing.
And she said, I have met somebody else, but he's asked her, her new partner keeps saying to me, kept asking her, please marry me, please marry. And she couldn't. She felt because he would be
Yeah.
upset or that there would be something. So here's the spirit coming through saying, it's okay.
Yes.
Go be happy. Of course, those tissues came out. She
That
started
was
crying.
it.
And if you saw the audience of 1,100 people, imagine 100 tissues being flying across the audience like birds.
Oh,
Absolutely, it did.
thank you,
Yeah, it gave.
Rachel.
Yeah, that gives me the. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
quite special, and the whole audience felt it, and that they knew how to get in there to do it for me because I am from New England. But it's amazing. It's amazing, and you get your own messages too, people. Right? Kim, if I was to say to you, because there's nature, there's pennies, there's all kinds of things. They know how to
Yes.
get your attention, but some people are so specific. I want the monarch butterfly on my shoulder at 4 o'clock. Yes, that can happen, but don't you think Kim, be open to other signs too? So you give your loved one a chance, right? And you got to make sure, Kim, too, right? Don't you agree? You have to be ready for that message and aware, because if they know you're emotional, they might wait to do it. What do you say, Kim?
Yeah, that's the number one question. Like, why? Like, for instance, in a family, let's say, a sibling crosses, and the sibling is communicating with the sister and not the other sister, and they're like, "Well, why?" Well, she's more open to it, or she's
Right.
a little further down on the journey of grief. And I, highly recommend grief counselors. They give you the
Absolutely.
tools to be able to not to get through it or over it, but to manage those waves of grief that happen after you lose a loved one, especially quickly and unexpectedly. So,
Yeah.
it's because they're open. And how are you open? It's just the subtleness of how they come through. It is not, um, it could be in your face. I mean, some of them have been, like,
Right.
because their loved ones are not quick to pick up on something, or they're just like, listen, I won't believe the crap with the feather or the butterflies. I need something tangible. So and then they get in their car and the wedding song comes on, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, that's not the station that should play that. Why? I have a mix on my phone for meditation. Coming down here to Florida, it's the first time I came here since my dad crossed, and it's emotional. On my meditation, while I was relaxing, Yakety Yak Don't Talk Back, the song came on. My my father would sing that to me. It's not on my playlist. How that? But we connect through music. I play badly, and he played music and sang very well. So anyway, that's the subtleness is the openness to say, yeah, and to say openly, I'm open to any signs you have. For those people that are very skeptical, I understand. I come from science. It's got to be tangible for me. It really does. So whether it's I mean, I had an experience, everyone has an experience. It's whether or not you're open or understand what it is. So they'll link with you with either a saying. When people sit with me, I will either mimic their hand gestures or something they were known to say. And so if you hear that phrase, if you see it on the television, if the music connects, a place resonates, it's there's all different subtleness of how they come forward. It's not always right in your face.
Right. And what you, if you get a sign, everyone, okay, you may feel you're thinking of your parents or your mom or your child, and then you feel a warmth on the back of your
Yeah,
shoulders, like someone's giving you a hug.
yeah,
Stop. The one thing that we keep doing is talking ourselves out of it. You're going to say, oh, it
that's
must
very
be the
true.
heater on. Okay. Your house
Yes,
smells with the smell of roses. You're going to say, that's mom's favorite smell. Who's spraying the Glade solid? Right? Don't keep explaining it
that's
away.
true.
You know,
Yeah,
you will get one. You'll get a sign usually in the unexpected way, in the most unusual way, right? Instead of saying how, like my Boston accent, how weird. Isn't that weird? No, they want you to say, thanks, mom, thanks, dad. Let the spirit know, your mom, your dad, your child, grandparent, friend, I know it was you, because they're like this on the other side. Do they know it's me? Do they acknowledge the sign, guys? Okay, acknowledge the sign. And if you're a doubting Thomas,
yep.
okay, or Sally Skeptic, say, do another one. Give me another one. All right. But don't be so. I had a specific sign that I said to my mom when she was about to pass away. I said, "Ma, show me this. And if any medium gives me this, I will know 100% it's you." But I limited it, Kim. Think about it. Only a medium could give me that message. Why not put it out there so it comes to me in other ways, guys? See?
Right.
So open yourself to it. And you're right, Kim. When you are bereaved, right? Sometimes you don't notice the signs. Just be open, and they're gonna let you know. You feel it in your heart, guys. That's how you know. You're like, I know that's them. People love cardinals. If a cardinal shows up, like I got a bird feeder out there. I'm seeing cardinals. I'm not saying this. There's my mom. There's a
Yeah.
cardinal. If that cardinal landed on my windowsill when I was thinking of mom, it landed on my shoulder, it landed right in front of me on a perch when I was thinking of my mom, then you could say
Yes.
that. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are all around you. But to watch a live demonstration is fantastic, to get one on one. And Laura, is there any questions you want to pop up? I hear somebody said that she lost her daughter 3 years ago, and she's from India. And, any suggestions? I always say, Kim, go by word of mouth, right? Go by word of mouth. And you might want to join um, uh, Helping Parents Heal. It's a
Yep.
whole organization in Arizona, a wonderful organization that helps strictly helping parents heal that have lost children. They're all over the world, my love. So that's a good place to go, helpingparentsheal.org or .com by and Elizabeth Buson and Mark Island, the ones who started that too. All right. And I am a big believer, Kim, like you said, in bereavement therapy. Okay. David Kessler, #1 bereavement
Yes.
counselor in the whole United States, a good friend of mine. So it's okay to reach out for help. Yeah, Kim?
I think, yeah, because and so when they get upset that they're talking to the mom's coming through and talking to the brother instead of the girls, it's just you're not open up to it, and I just mean that, like, don't be upset about it. Like, just if that person is the go-between because it's easier for mom to get through, then accept that. People want to know why they're not, what, you don't know my husband, but yet he's talking to you, and I love this man for 57 years. Why isn't he coming through to me? And there's anger, right? And I think
Yeah.
anger blocks the communication, whether you're still stuck in grief. And I mean stuck in the sense that you haven't taken the opportunity to work with somebody and to use those tools, and then to start to process the grief, and then have an opportunity for an opening. How do souls, this is a great question. How do souls end up earthbound if they have guardian angels? I missed the last one. How to earthbound? What does that meaning? They haven't crossed over. If I'm confused. How about you? You want to take that, John?
How do souls end up earthbound if they have guardian angels? I'm not everything. And so this is for Susan. Now, in my book, Bridging Two Realms, How to Communicate with Your Loved Ones on the Other Side, I will say this, okay? In my experience, okay, I've never had an earthbound spirit. Like, I've never had a spirit come through, say, hey, I'm stuck here. I
Yeah.
think when you pass away, you go into the astral. And I'm not saying I don't believe it, everyone, okay? And I'm not saying there aren't hauntings. I haven't had that experience, so I can't answer that, Susan. I don't believe they're earthbound, but other people will say yes, they are, because I know there's a medium. That's what the show, the one that James did, the Ghost Whisperer,
Yeah.
right? Okay, she could see earthbound spirits. I don't know enough about it. It was never. I don't know, Kim.
Yeah.
Have you
That.
experienced that?
Uh, uh, See, this is touchy because religion plays. I don't want to say, because this is. Okay, two parts of this. One, people, when you say earthbound, they haven't crossed over. This misnomer that somebody is hanging out because they
Stuck.
have. Yes, they're not. They automatically, as soon as the physical shell, the body that the soul is occupying, is no longer working, um, they cross.
Yeah.
So and I worked with a grief support group comprised of parents whose children had crossed. Okay, and it was run by a Catholic priest. And he used to, sneak me in the church basement and talk to these parents. And um, these kids, there wasn't a purgatory. And I'm not going against, I believe in all religions. If that brings you joy and brings you
Sure.
peace, then by all means, I'm not. But there wasn't this holding area that one religion was saying, because someone may have crossed by suicide. So
Yeah.
I don't see them as being earthbound. If there's a trauma, then that place will resonate that energy from that trauma. Okay. But there are, and I may sound contradictory, like, for instance, Gettysburg, there was major trauma in those areas, and they're still seeing residual energy as
That's
opposed to
right.
intelligent
Yeah.
energy. So, I may have opened up a can of worms, but there we
No,
go.
but I understand that because it was such a tragic event. It's like a snapshot in the ethers. It plays over and over
Yes.
again. I don't believe the souls of the soldiers are trapped there. And I really
Right.
believe there's different levels to the spirit world. Okay. There's the etheric, the astral, the mental causal, and
It's on.
then you go higher and higher. I think there's
Yes.
different levels. And as you progress or you reincarnate over and over again, you go to the next level. So they're not stuck there. They're waiting to go to, I don't like the word
Yes.
stuck, especially if someone says that their kid is there and they haven't crossed over. In
Yeah.
our experience, everyone, I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
So that's the
No.
answer to that question. But they are there, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. They know what's going on. They know they can be there for you. All right, and just don't explain it away. I got another question here. We'll take. What are your thoughts on when a loved one passes but reincarnates back to Earth? How are you able? Okay. I learned this from Gordon Smith, right?
Okay.
And Marianne, really quickly. Don't think of the soul, the Marianne soul is the only part of it. It's not just singular, right? The soul, think of it as consciousness, right? The soul is multidimensional. So, Marianne, I learned this from Gordon. He was just on Facebook Live doing it too, Gordon Smith, saying this. Imagine that, Marianne. Look at it like a computer. The Marianne program is playing right now. There's an oversoul. There's a bigger part of us on the other side. This is just a piece of your soul in this lifetime. When the Marianne program is done, it's going to go back to the oversoul or the bigger part of the soul, and another piece is going to go up. When a medium wants to say, Marianne, you have your mom, your dad, your kids here that want to connect with you, the medium's able to touch into that piece of that oversoul to bring forth that personality or memories of Marianne. And another piece of you is going to play out. It won't be you, Marianne. It'll be another side of you playing too. Think consciousness. Think of it like a computer. It's not just the one part, Marianne, of you coming back and forth. It's multidimensional. And like Brian Weiss told me too, how do we know we're at different places at once? Okay, on the other side, another galaxy, because there's quantum physics, Kim, right?
Yes.
So that's a
And
deep question, but I hope
string
that,
theory. Yes.
yeah.
The geeky person inside of me absolutely looks at it very much that way, that the soul is multidimensional, can be in
Yeah.
two places at one time. And for me, that's how I try and explain it. So that's interesting. That's a great question, Marianne. I really appreciate that. Um, now, John, have you ever had a situation where somebody wasn't on the spiritual plane to communicate with?
I don't understand that.
Let's say somebody sits with you and they're hoping to connect with
And nothing happens?
father, brother,
Mm-hmm.
and father comes through and brother doesn't.
Right. Sure it does. And what happens too, some people get unexpected. I'll say to people, there's a whole speech I give too, because they just want their mother.
Yeah.
I say to them too, be open. You might get unexpected people. Could be a teacher, a friend that passed when they were young, and they're like, oh my God, because they're like, why are they coming through? Because they're there. Right. And they're coming through. I've had it does happen. And sometimes I don't understand why some people don't come through. I've had special people in my life that don't come through. I don't know if they're visiting others. Maybe they know, Kim, for me, that I know they're okay, so they don't
Yes.
have to come through. Do you
Okay.
understand? But sometimes people will get someone they don't expect or want, right? But that is usually the person that opens up the door for somebody else
And
to
that's
come
what
through.
absolutely, I tell
Yeah.
people, listen, they're part of your spiritual posse. So if they come through,
Yeah.
they come through, please don't put a wall up and go, that's not my mom. I don't, because that energetic blockage plays a role in how you work with me energetically. I said, allow them to come through, whatever message. Maybe they're the MC with the microphone on the other side right now. So
That's
I
right.
never, I can't choose who gets the microphone first. Just be open that it may be somebody maybe you didn't meet on the physical plane, but it's part of your lineage, or somebody that crossed many years ago, maybe from high school or
Yeah.
when you were much younger. Happens quite a bit.
Now, by just watching this, you're a little more aware today. So let the magic happen, guys, okay? Be open to your loved one, mom, dad, child. And Kim and I work together in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and she has a good following. There was a big audience. But to watch the audience, the two of us work different doing our own style. Kim goes into the audience, I stay on the stage, and then we come together double linking, where it's almost like remember when you could pick up a landline and you could listen on someone's call? That's what it is. Kim's going to link with someone's mother, or I will, and then if all going well, if it's in sync, she comes into the reading. I'm talking to the mother, Kim is talking to the father, same family. So it's pretty cool to watch, and I love doing that. And I wanted to come on here, do a little explanation what happens when spirit talks to you, because there's so many stories, but the
Mhm.
audience does get touched, everyone, okay, when someone else gets a message. All right. And I say the best message, sometimes the best thing to do going into an event is don't pull it. Just say, I'm open. I'm open and I'm just happy for other people. Those are the ones too, also. So, but Kim and I are doing, it's coming up in 3 weeks. And I'm so thrilled, Kim,
I
to
can't wait.
introduce you to the New England audience in Elliott, Maine, which is just 10 minutes. When you say Elliott, people think, no, it's not up in the boonies of Maine. It's right over near
The hop
Portsmouth,
and a
right?
skip.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And the tickets are going, and it's going to be 2.5 hours. There you go. The two
Oh,
of
there
us
we
work
are.
together, and we have both the same kind of energy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be it's going to be fantastic. And the tickets are going, but we wanted to give you a chance, my Facebook audience chance, Kim's Facebook audience a chance.
Uh-huh.
So it's April 3rd, 2.5 hours, 7 to 9:30, and there's a restaurant right next door. And so come join us, watch this, experience it, feel it. And be part of it, everyone, because I think Kim is going to be coming more and more to New England. I'm just thrilled that I get to introduce her
Oh,
to my audience after so many years. So, Kim, I'm looking
I can't
forward
wait.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. You can go to johnholland.com or
Yes.
kimdurham.com, and they
For
will, I know
tickets,
people,
yes.
yeah, people are waiting probably. There were VIP, those went. People might wait to the last minute, but I really wouldn't if I were
No.
you. So, we love you. We love our loved ones. Let us help you. Let three-way communication, them, us, and
Uh-huh.
the audience, work that magic on April 3rd. All right, Kim, you want to say anything, Kim, before we
I listen. I had so much fun working with you in
Cherry
Cherry Hill,
Hill?
New Jersey in November. People love that and are actually driving up to see us work together again because they just you can see the energy that the two of us have and how we work dynamically so well. Different, we have different life libraries and we work a little bit differently, but the linking was beautiful, was amazing, and answering some questions that the people had in the office. When do you get to see two mediums work together and link and answer questions? So it's going to be a fun event. I can't wait to see you and get up there to New England. I've got some friends and clients up in Boston area and in Connecticut. So 3 weeks, April 3rd. That's a Thursday.
Yep.
And go ahead, John.
And it's at a beautiful place at the
It
Elliott
is.
Regatta, the
Yeah.
Regatta Conference Center. Don't get nervous when you say conference center. It's an
No.
intimate group, guys, or it's not 3,000 like I do to
Uh-uh.
a Hay House
No.
sometimes, or 1,100. So
No.
it's people coming from all over. It's a beautiful space. And we welcome you. And I have to thank the people behind the scenes, Laura Worcester for helping us here, and
Yes.
your Jenna for today
Yes.
too. So guys,
Thank you. Thank you.
just always remember too, your loved ones are just a thought away. Okay. And especially now, a little kindness, one small act can create a ripple effect that reaches
Yes.
farther than you can ever imagine. April 3rd, Spirit Connections, especially even a mediumship, 7 to 9:30, myself and the wonderful Kim Durham. And Kim, I know I'll see you soon, and we'll see all of you, everybody who come to the event. So God bless and have a fantastic rest of your day and a very special, blessful weekend. Yes, Kim?
Yes, absolutely. Keep
All
chatting
right.
with your angels because they hear you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.